It's good to be back. So much to catch up on. If this is your first time tuning in, that's dope. I think we might have an epic night in front of us. So without further delay, welcome back to Chris Sees the Internet. Man, I've been gone for a while. If this is your first time tuning in or your first time on the Invisible Panchos YouTube page, or maybe you just found us in the stream, tune in, man. We're going to hang out. You're going to get to know us a little bit, especially tonight. I'm going to be doing a breakdown, a behind the scenes story of our latest video that we just put out with the homie Mr. Little One. Shout out to Mr. Little One. But when you hear Gene Flow on the beat, you know the show is on and cracking. Shout out to Gene Flow, the other half of the Invisible Panchos. Yeah. So we're going to be doing a breakdown. I'm going to give you guys the story behind how we put together the video, how it came to be. I think if you're an up-and-coming artist, possibly, I think you will get some value out of this. It is a story of networking. It is a story of perseverance. But it's also just kind of what's happening a lot with the Invisible Panchos, and I'm going to kind of tell you how we got there. Things are on the up, as one would say. For us, anyways. For instance, we just started this YouTube channel last year sometime, and to be real, we weren't really like updating it very much, you know. Shout out to Anthony Burrito. Salute to you, my boy. But yeah, we weren't updating the YouTube channel that much, and that was to our own fault. We didn't really have an excuse, but we were putting out music, and but really last year and the year before that, we really went about developing our live show. I for sure dove into developing myself as a live performer. If you've ever been to one of our shows, or if you've never been to one of our shows, rather, please believe we actually rap. We're not like just playing the song. We don't do that. I know that's popular nowadays. I'm not knocking it. Rather, if it was in my house or my crew, I probably would be knocking it, but I'm not knocking it if you're doing it. I mean, it has nothing to do with me. But I've always been into the live performance and the work that goes into that. And that's a big part of the art that I make, is the live part, right? Lately, we've been talking a lot about being more than just like a group that, makes music. Because we, myself and Gene Flow and OG HipHop Eddie, we've all gotten into creating other pieces of art, content, directing videos. The video that we'll show you today and that I'll tell you the story about later on is a video that I edited and shot some of it along with the homie Mr. Arash. Shout out to Mr. Arash. But yeah, I digress. Anyways, we weren't uploading a lot to YouTube, and then within the last maybe 4 or 5 months, we started just trickling in like a little bit. I mean, I'm telling you, we weren't even like, I don't even think we had 100 subscriptions. But anyways, within the last month, we've had like 150 subscribers. And so, if people are like supporting the channel, you know, it gives us more reason to want to put content here so that people who are supporting the channel are actually supporting something other than just kind of waiting for music to come out. Because I know for us, it is very like 360 in the art we make, right? Like we put a lot of our personal lives into the things that we make. We're vlogging now, so you're seeing parts of our personal lives, and I think people are getting to kind of know our personalities a little bit better. I know for Gene, for sure, that's happening. You know, I've been at this a little longer than he has, but Gene, he is already starting to experience that. Like, you know, people are watching the vlog and then like taking those pieces that they see of him, and then they think like that's him. You know what I mean? Instead of just like what it actually is, it's just like 30 seconds of time captured and, you know, spread out. So, that being said, we do want to like, you know, start updating this YouTube channel more. And one of those things that I want to do is I just want to come live. That probably just got me banned. I want to jump on live and hang out with you guys, and also let you guys into what we're doing behind the scenes and kind of how we do it, you know, or how we make it happen. This last year, we've been on 2 tours. One as a supporting act for Noah James and 60 East. In fact, we did that a couple years in a row, I believe. And then we had our first headlining tour, the Lost in California tour, where we took some amazing acts out with us. I mean, one of the things we really, really like to do is support artists that we like. You know, if we like their music and we like especially their message, you know, we're big on the message. If we support the message, then we like to support the artist. So we took some artists out on the road with us. We took Moody. We took the Dark Room. You know, Zena Loa came out and helped us. He's a headliner in his own right. We took Eugene O'Neill out. All these artists that are now killing it on their own as well. So that's something that we do a lot. And I think sharing how we do that or how we go about making those relationships are making opportunities for artists to build off of the energy that you're making. To me, it's like lending people like some of the wind in your sail. You know what I mean? Like I've always believed in doing that. People have done that for me in the past as well. So I feel like, you know, giving that back is something that you should do. I believe in that. And that's, you know, it's something I stand by. It's something we stand by as the Invisible Panchos. So again, I think if I show and talk about that to people and let people know how we do it, maybe they'll do it. And then we can create a community that has a lot of people helping each other and a lot of people telling each other information and filling in the gaps for people. You know, I think that's something that is worth shooting for, at least. And that's what these lives are going to be a lot of times. And you're also going to hang out with me as I search the internet. And today I think I'm actually going to, I had this idea. This is all in real time. This is really live on YouTube. Even though we're going to cut this up and use it in clips and all that kind of stuff, all this is live. I'm coming on here really just thankful for the people who are subscribing and people who are, you know, watching stuff. I know we're not in that place yet where, like, you know, we just have hundreds of people in, you know, supporting us in real time, but the numbers at least are telling us that you are supporting us, you know. And then the comments that we get are like the best things. We got some amazing comments. I'm going to talk about some of those comments today that we got from the video. Maybe I'll show you some. I I got to check with the homies. But yeah, I think showing you those kind of things so that, especially if you're an artist or you're creative, so you can kind of like, at least for me, when I was really like starting out, I really had a lot of questions, even just on things that people may have thought were like simple, just like some simple, might have a simple answer or something. But I had a lot of them, and I know that artists are, a lot of creatives do, sometimes get overwhelmed with all the different things and the opportunities and like the networking part of it. That's something I really want to talk about today too, is because I feel like that's thrown around. So like people, I think a lot of times people think just getting out of their house is networking. But it can be, but there's a way to go about that, I think. And I think I've seen, I've spent a lot of years, I'm in my 40s, so I'm not like a kid, but I work around a lot of, younger people, young artists. You see them out there, they're on the bills, or we mentor some, there's a lot of times we're managing people. And what I've seen a lot of the times is when it comes to like the competitive aspect of this, a lot of people have that part like really twisted up, because they speak about like their opportunities or lack thereof as if it was a team sport. Like I'm not getting enough playing time. Thus, like kind of taking it off themselves to get like the playing time. That happens a lot. I've seen that happen a lot in the scene. There's people doing that now, I see people really feel like the person they look at other artist as like being in the lane right next to them. So they're constantly having to look over at that lane, and it always slows them down. And I see like frustration come out of that kind of behavior, and that's just a real thing. Oh, shout out to Anthony in the chat room saying Bakersfield was lit. It was lit. That was a cool show. Next time we're gonna go back, there's gonna be even more people, and then more people. I can't wait. I love Bakersfield, by the way. We love Bakersfield. You can see it in our vlog. I love and from what I've heard, that's not something people say a lot. But the people from Bakersfield, they say that. Some of them. And I like Bakersfield. We get love in Bakersfield. It's dope. But yeah, back to what I was saying. And I'm going to be jumping around. Trust me. It's live. It's live again. This is not scripted. We are going to jump into some video stuff though soon. We're going to be watching the Mr. Little One, or the Invisible Panchos featuring Mr. Little One. And then I'm going to be breaking down the video. I edited the video. Kind of talk to you about how we came about that as well. So let me see. But anyways, the thing about, people understanding what the networking part of this game is, and just like anytime I get frustrated seeing younger artists get frustrated at things that don't matter, like what the other artists are doing. Like if you are really, really serious about this, trust me, if you're very serious about this, you don't really have a whole lot of time to do anything but make the art you're doing and then put that into play into the world, using whatever the pieces you can to do that. That should take up the majority of your time. So if you have a lot of time to be consuming and building opinions of other people's stuff, that's crazy. And then you are also like fans of things, right? So you have to listen to the things that you're fans of. And so where's that means there's a whole chunk of time that you could be putting towards just advancing your career instead of worrying about where you are on the bill or how come so-and-so's not putting me on, or, you know, we got the Happiness of Pursuit. Here's a good segue. We got the Happiness of Pursuit Festival coming up. If you know anything about our history with that, we've been associated with the Happiness of Pursuit Festival since the very beginning because we worked for it. Like we volunteered very early on because we believed in 60 East and we believed in like the movement. And Platform Collection, the company that represents Invisible Panchos and helps us create all the things that we do, they were all in with the Thought Fest from year one. And we still are. Our manager, Eddie, OG HipHop Eddie from the Invisible Panchos, he's our silent poncho. He is the stage manager at the main stage at the Happiness of Pursuit Festival. So we have a lot of connections there. But seeing all the artists that have gone through the Happiness of Pursuit Festival, yeah, man, it runs the gamut of like every level of experience. You see people with like the brand new song and they're just hot, you know what I mean? And some of those cats, you don't see them ever again after that festival. That has happened occasionally. But then you also see like these high level professionals and how they treat their craft. Man, speaking of a high level professional, let me get just this real quick. Let me just do this real quick. Just a quick moment of silence for Chino Excel. Salute to you, my G. We were there when he rocked the Happiness of Pursuit Festival. Eddie was managing the stage at that time. And you could see how he approached his craft, someone like that, again, and all he would do is give love, right? Like, so this is a dude he's already proved that he can do the job and have success at it. He proved that. And in doing that, all he had time to do is give love, really. Like, he's kind of got to give love because doesn't have time to like analyze the things that he doesn't like. Because the things that if they don't like fall across his desk, he doesn't even know what they are. So again, if you're a young artist or you're an artist coming up, man, don't concentrate on anything but the art that you're creating and the people that are supporting that. And that's it. And that might not look, and usually if you're making good art, it might not look what you thought it was going to be when you first started, because good art evolves and it becomes something on its own. And so there's no way that you could have pictured exactly what your audience was going to look like. Your audience finds you, because they're the people who need what you're making. At least that's what I believe. And if you see it like that, I can't see how you can see any of it as a competition, really. Yeah. I don't know, man. But let's get into this video. Let me see. I got this set up. Let me pause Gene Flow for a second. Pause Gene Flow. Always got to show the respects. Let's do this. All right. So this is little backstory. This is a video that we just released, especially if you're just tuning in for the first time. Like, this is a video that we just released. It's called Astronauts. It features Mr. Little One, produced and all that good stuff by the Invisible Panchos. And then we also shot most of it. Our good friend and photographer, just a badass on the camera. His name is Mr. Arash. You can look him up, Mr. ARASHH. Mr. Arash, man. Look it up. God damn it. I just rap, I don't spell. But he shot our live our performance scenes, and just brought it all together, man. And then I edited it. And then I like to approach videos, so we really don't like traditional, just, the rapper performing to the screen and that's it. Like, that's a lot right now because people use those things as reels and stories. And so you see that a lot, but we don't like doing that because I'm a photographer, and I've directed videos for years. In fact, I just saw, man, here, dude, shout out to Panchos. I just saw that a video that I directed for Tumex just hit like over 100K. That's dope. To me, that's dope. I know it's not a million or whatever, but it's dope. 100K. And I think I shot that on like the first day I bought like just a little digital camera. So like my specialty has become shooting on phones, shooting on small format cameras. I like that. It has also led to like the aesthetic of the Invisible Panchos. It does have a lot to do with, how it looks and feels. It's because we shoot like in this day and age, kind of lo-fi compared to like what most people are shooting videos on. Most people are shooting videos on red cameras. At least the people that are our peers that are on like bills with us, a lot of times they're shooting like on red, which if you don't know what that is, that's like a very high definition, almost one of the highest definition cameras. So it looks like a movie. I like it to have, I've always liked old movies and like old photos and like, even when I create music, one of my philosophies for music is like, if there's like a theme, right? Say there's, we can use this song, Astronauts, right? So the reason it's called Astronauts to me is, I've always gravitated to that phrase and describing what I feel like good art should do. Like, I think good art should ask questions that a lot of people may not be able to. So if you can create that art, like your purpose is to be able to ask those questions for the world and then bring back that information, go to places that, other people can't go, maybe emotionally, right? Like maybe emotionally people might not be able to like feel like what I need to feel to create a song. Right. And so I can talk about doing that. If I do it good and I treat it like a real craft and I really, put in my reps, I can get really good at that. And I have gotten good at that. And so I can talk about that and then maybe people can be inspired by that, or people can go like, oh man, it's, people could look at me and just go like, oh, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And you're right. 100%. But a lot of times you need like that astronaut to go out there in space to know that we can go into space, so that's what this is about. And the space that I was talking about specifically in this song was, at least for me, it's very layered. So like you'll hear in the lyrics, but one of the spaces that I try to go to here is, or at least address or touch, is Chicano hip hop. I've always been a lifelong fan of Chicano hip hop. I've also, in total transparency, have always been kind of on that side of like, I love hip hop so much that I don't like the separation. I'm not that comfortable with it, not as it currently stands. Like, I'm not that comfortable with there being hip hop and then Chicano hip hop. And a lot of artists that I know that are Chicano, right? They're Mexican American, they have Mexican roots, but they live a very distinct lifestyle or an experience as somebody of Mexican American descent, especially in the Southwest. It is very distinct. And if you know, and if you don't, ask one of those people. They can probably put you up on game, but it's very distinct. And so people have also added to that, you know, politics, relations with the police. There's a lot of things embedded within like the word Chicano for a lot of people. But what it mostly means is that you have a Mexican American experience and you have a respect and a reverence for your roots to Mexico because they're very close to where you're at, right? I'm talking like ancestrally and demographically, right? Like it's close. So and if you acknowledge that, then you know you're Chicano. And so Chicano hip hop, though, is not necessarily that. There has been groups that in the past have been like very inspiring to me. People who kind of try to like transcend or not allow people to put Chicano hip hop in a box. There was groups like Aslan Underground. There's I mean even people like artists here in San Diego, like by the name of Night Owl. You know, he was a gangster for sure, but he believed in hip hop. He believed like you have to rap. Like he had a style. He had, you know, he developed his own feel. He believed in originality. You know, he believed in the tenets. And that's something that I really like. I really think I'm into that. I'm into people who respect the craft of hip hop. So that being said, a lot of the criticism Chicano hip hop gets is that it's not deep, right? That it's a lot of street stories and one aspect of the Chicano environment. Do I have cousins that are cholos? Yes, for sure. Do I have cousins and family members that have done time? Yes. Again, it's almost the Chicano experience for a lot of us, right? That's you're embedded together. Your environment, you're embedded in these places. So I wanted to kind of address that because I am Chicano. And if people are titling a niche of hip hop Chicano hip hop, then I'm in it for sure. Because I check all the boxes. I know what being Chicano is. I understand the roots of it. I've studied it. I lived it. I grew up in an all Chicano neighborhood, Barrio Logan in San Diego. And so I wanted to make a statement about that, right? About maybe advancing the conversation of Chicano hip hop, advancing what it means, you know? And by no means do I think that like any of the cats that are like street cats that like that mostly get called Chicano hip hop, that they're against it expanding. Most of them are not. Most of them are because they're artists. They just happen to be cholos. Some of them are cholos, but that doesn't mean they're not artists. Like they're artists to the core. And a lot of them don't like being in a box. I know that for a fact. I know a lot of them. I've sat with a lot of them. One of those people is Mr. Little One. He is one of those people who loves hip hop, right? And he happens to be Chicano and he wants to be able to be prideful about that, but also not like have his hip hop judged on that. You know, he wants to be able to create music that is Chicano, but also create music that is hip hop, like any artist would want to, you know. They'd want to diversify. You naturally diversify as an artist because you grow older, you grow different perspectives. You don't want to make the same shit all the time. Yo, shout out to Daniel Posas. What up, Daniel? Shout out to you. But yeah, that's a big thing. So I wanted to make that statement Mr. Little One is one of those guys. I'd watched a lot of his content in the past few years, right? And I'm going to tell you guys a story that is like never been told. But Mr. Little One and I have both we've acknowledged this happening, and it's kind of weird, man. It's weird. You guys are going to probably think it's weird too, because it's like what you'll see. So again, I'm in my 40s, so maybe 15 years ago, maybe 15, 12 years ago, something like that. Way back when, I was doing a show called Proof of Life Radio, and it got popular. It was one of the very first ever streaming hip hop radio shows. And it was kind of like the start for us. We interviewed the who's who of hip hop, everybody from Cypress Hill to NWA. I mean, we went to the East Coast. We had Keith Murray, EPMD. We interviewed DMC from Run DMC out of a bedroom that in a little townhouse that I was sharing with my two cousins. But nobody had ever streamed, right? They had like a little video streamer thing. We used a thing called Stickcam, and it was super dope. It used to let you have one, like your video, like you guys see me right now on the screen, and then like 10 videos down the side of viewers. They could like get on the stream with you. It was super dope. And nobody's ever really done that again, which is, I understand why. We literally had people get naked in that, but it was early internet. So we did that, and we started work. So we got popular in San Diego for doing that. We had a lot of we broke a lot of San Diego artists, like on a national level through that. And so we would work with a lot of artists, and there was this artist, I'm not going to say his name because I haven't talked to him, but there was this young artist, and he was going to sign to, at that time, Sicko Records, which was Mr. Little One's imprint at that time. And in his own words, Mr. Little One's own words, he was a very different person at that time. A very different person. And I can attest to that, because the reputation he had was not a good one. It wasn't like it wasn't something that, he had a reputation. And our friend who was going to sign with him, who I believe ended up signing with him, I met Mr. Little One at what was at the time this restaurant called Seau's, after the famous football player Junior Seau of the San Diego Chargers, and rest in peace. And I met him. We met him there. Me and Eddie. Eddie was with me. We were still like trying to figure it out. We were doing the radio show. I was still performing, rapping, and we met Little One there. It was a big, almost like, dude, it felt like a mafia meeting, literally. Like we sat at a big table, and again, remember, I'm putting my own younger experience on it too, so I'm adding stuff in my own head, like, whoa, this is crazy. And that's Mr. Little One, because he was Mr. Little One already. He was already famous. I mean, a pioneer of Chicano hip hop, at least down here in Southern California, for sure. Do your research, for sure. I just did an in-depth thing studying some of these facts. That's why I'm talking so clearly about it, because I know for a fact he's a pioneer. And but at that time he was a gangster, and we even talked. And so anyways, my friend ends up signing with him, or before he signs with him, he brings us the contract to look over it for him. And I mean, in my opinion, it wasn't good. Like, he was too young. They wanted him for, I think, like a few different records. And I had worked with him and I knew he wasn't like ready for that. And so I had recommended, me and Eddie recommended like him not do that, but he ended up doing it. And nothing ever really came out of that young man's career. He had a few great songs. He was a great artist, but nothing ever really came out of it. And that was the last I saw of, Mr. Little One at that time, because we weren't in the same worlds. I was really deeply rooted into underground hip hop. And so that's what I was doing most of the time. And, so there wouldn't be a reason for us to necessarily like, cross paths. So weirdly enough, all these years later, I have to work on a project where, I'm interviewing an artist and he happens to be one of those artists because I'm working on some stuff having to do with Chicano hip hop. And, we get to talking. And I noticed within like the first few minutes of talking to him, because remember, the last time I saw him, he was that dude. This very next time I see him, I can tell you with all honesty, I am very good with energy. I've always been that. It is the cause of a lot of the path that I've taken has been based off of that. And I didn't feel anything other than someone who was like really trying to figure it out. And I don't know if I've never asked him about this. We've kicked it a few times. But I didn't ask him if he had recognized me as well. I wouldn't imagine that he would. It wasn't like I was playing an important part at that board meeting, that mafia board meeting. In fact, he was probably like, who the fuck are these guys? But my friend just wanted us there like for support or something. And, he was very different when we got to speaking, and he talked about like, his path to, trying to find enlightenment, trying to find a path of, righteousness, if you will, right? For lack of better description. And, whatever that is, I think you guys kind of know what I'm talking about, right? Like just figuring it out, man. Letting the anger go, letting the sadness go, all that kind of stuff. Forgiving, allowing yourself to be forgiven, accepting love, all those kind of things that are not necessarily promoted on the street, especially if you're a gangster, right? But that's kind of where he's at in his life. And now if you see his content, it is as genuine as he is. I can tell you, I've been in his presence. I've never seen anything different. He's that guy. He's trying to figure it out. He knows he's not perfect. So after speaking to him, I kind of just let it go and went, what a cool experience. Wow, how weird. All these years later, talking to him, we exchanged that story. He even said, man, I was very different at that time. That's crazy. You met me then, but we just kind of left it at that. And then shout out to, in fact, is he in the chat room? So Anthony Brito in the chat room right now. If you guys tuned into this live, you would have been able to see this, but he, and it's just so happened that it was 3 different people, hit up Mr. Little One, I believe just like in social media or via personal relationship or whatever, but 3 different people, including Tony in the chat room, hit Mr. Little One up at like, around the same time, shortly after I had spoken to him. And I think it's because they saw a picture of us, and the people who saw me knew I was in the Invisible Panchos. And so the people who only knew me as that, is which they would only know me as that because they didn't know I was working on a project or anything like that. I rarely talk about like any of the journalist stuff that I do, but they saw it and they were like, oh, Invisible Panchos is Mr. Little One. And long story short, that continued to happen over maybe a month period of time where people were like, yo, you should do a song, Mr. You're telling Mr. Little One he should do a song with the Invisible Panchos. There's even a video on our blog or over on theinvisiblepanchos.com. If you just scroll down the Tumblr, where he's talking about that, where he's like, oh man, everywhere I go, people were saying like the Invisible Panchos of Invisible Panchos. And he had never really heard of us because, again, we're not in the same worlds at all. So thus, the opportunity presented itself. I already felt what I felt about, you know, the Chicano music topic. Here was an amazing opportunity to make a statement, to show, to one, not necessarily go to create something that Mr. Little One would be on normally, right? He has a sound, you know, he loves the oldies, he's very connected to that. We wanted to give him something that was, you know, really authentically us, really authentically hip hop. And then make that a statement and then try to, this was my thinking. My thinking was I was going to make the song, put it out, and then let people decide, is this Chicano hip hop? Because here's us, right? Who I'm Chicano. I've said that from day one. I said I'm from Body Logan from day one. Are we Chicano? Do you think, how about now? Here's literally one of the, you know, pillars on this song, acknowledging the importance of this. And so thus we were going somewhere where people had not gone before, thus astronauts. Here you go. Oh, I got it. So that scene right here. In fact, let me get this on the full. I was super proud of this scene. So one of the ways I decided to edit this video is I really, really like, you know, I'm a photographer, so I love. Oh shit! Shout out to. Damn, I just cussed again. Shout out to Secret Saviors of Hip Hop, Longhair 5150 in the chat room. If you don't know, ask somebody. Follow Secret Saviors of Underground Hip Hop, by the way. I'm expecting a comeback at some point. I want it to go. I love the brand. Look into it. It's amazing. It's important. But it's crazy that he tuned in right now, because what I'm about to address is the fact that I approached this video. I decided like the theme would be photos and experiences, right? But also strong Chicano voices and influential voices and people that are the veins and soul of communities, the communities that they're in. And the biggest thing that I was concentrating on was how diverse they were. So we set it off. In fact, let me rewind really quick. Right at the beginning, the very first scene. And you guys, I don't know if you guys catch that. That's the what you guys look at it. I'll just let you see it. So I think the first voice, well, that's OG Hip Hop Eddie. Let's see here. So this is a friend of ours. He goes by Thumps. He let's say he was away for a while, for maybe 30 plus. And we met him at a show one time. He caught our set. And his words, he was so moved by our set that he had to come over and talk to us. And he said it was like he, for obvious reasons, had not heard hip hop like that in a long time. And it made his soul feel really good. And so we had a long conversation after the show, and this is maybe a year ago, maybe now. And he's been a friend of ours ever since, a supporter, and he's doing amazing. He's doing amazing in life. And he's like someone I'm rooting for as like the epitome of a second chance. And I think that's really dope. And that's why I put him in there. And he's Chicano, and there he is. So there's one face. This lady here, she constantly vends in Chicano Park. That is like my neighborhood park. And in Barrio Logan, you can look it up. It's a famous park, world famous park. And she always vends in there. And you can go there and see her there any day. And so I thought it was very important that she's in the video. I went and filmed with her. She was super dope about being in it. She got very serious as the camera came on. She was like in her role, man. It was super, super dope.
You don't have to see it to believe it.
Did I?
On this earth, but I'ma leave it. Blame it on the.
I think I passed it. Hold on a sec. Because one of the things that I'm really, really proud of is I know for a fact we are the only people on the planet who have a video with Mr. Little One and Tumex in the same video. That's Tumex, the legendary MC. He's had been a longtime mentor of ours for a while. He's a good friend. But I wanted him to be a part of this because I knew that the statement in itself is important. The statement of he's a Chicano, but he's never kind of been put into that category because of his high MC abilities. Like literally he's a linguist. He's a pioneer of verbal warfare as an MC. And he's like, he's that guy who takes his words and what he writes down very seriously. And that's not something that, has been popular or popularized in traditional Chicano hip hop. The critique of it is normally that it's very simple. It's not very deep. And I don't think that, but I'm saying that's normal. People who know. Like that's usually what people criticize. But I thought this was super dope. Mr. Little One and Tumex in a video. Again, I don't think that's ever happened. So we were super proud of that. That bridge, if you're not from San Diego, it is called the Coronado Bridge. It's very important in the history of Chicano Park and the Chicano movement, mostly as an obstruction, and then as something that became a symbol of like revolution. If you go to Chicano Park, there's murals all throughout the park, and they're all painted on the pillars of Coronado Bridge on this side of the bay. The other side of the bay is Coronado, which is considered, I think, in the top 1% cities in America as far as wealth. So right across the bridge is where I live, Barrio Logan, which is, multiple gangland documentaries. People for years had. Now it's become trendy. It's getting and has gotten gentrified. That's for sure. But throughout the years, it was kind of seen as a negative place to be. So that's that bridge. And then the scene you're seeing right there where Mr. Little One's at, that's Sherman Heights. So here's the backstory on that. So Barrio Logan and the Barrio Logan gangs, there's 3 or 4 major ones, and then there's a lot of smaller ones. Their main rival is Sherman. And that's actually the gang that Mr. Little One comes from. He's from a Sherman gang. This is well known. It's documented. But again, just the statements that are torn throughout the video Our strong ones, I think we did without having to like push it in people's faces, because that's not what we do. That's the invisible Panchos. We don't do that. We like to thread things. So yeah, that's a little backstory on that. Shout out to Homie Beats.
You don't have to see it to believe it. I got my feet on this earth, but I'm a...
Okay, so that gentleman, might as well just explain to you who these people are.
You don't have to see it to believe it. I got my feet on this earth.
So that is Dent Loke. He is a muralist and artist from Chicano heritage, and he is he's from Barrio Logan as well, and he is one of the emerging talents in amongst muralists. He really is. He's all over San Diego City. And he's one of those guys who's genuinely trying to give back to the community. Everything he does has to give back to the community in some way. He got an opportunity recently to paint this amazing, damn, I'm sweating my ass off. To paint this amazing mural, and honor, Rey Mysterio, who's from San Diego, from WWE fame. And instead of just doing it himself, he invited other artists to come and help him, which is a really dope thing. And that's how we get down, right? We got an opportunity to do a tour. Instead of just doing it ourselves, we decided to bring 3-4 other people with us. And because we believe in the aspect of actual community, right? Actual community is everybody pitching in together. Pitching in though has to happen, right? But we also believe in creating the opportunities for people who think like that as well. And he does that. So shout out to him.
But I'ma leave it, blame it on the remix. I'm sickest with the sequence. I scribble blood into the game. This is my thesis in pieces. I side up these ops like my goals. I shoot up everyone, you never know. Yeah, this is for my people and my soul. You should leave this game up to the pros. Aging backwards, homie.
So this gentleman he used to go by 3D, but you will now know him as Benny Canales. He is, again, an OG MC from San Diego. He's an amazing, very well-known tattoo artist, graffiti artist, painter, visual artist, singer. I think he produces a little bit. But he's from Barrio Logan, and him and I have hung out on the block quite a few times. We are friends. I consider him a friend, and he was super dope about being in the video. Showing his face means a lot. Again, someone who, by the way, the music that he makes it's crazy. He makes soul, R&B, hip hop that has rap, freestyle, psychedelic. It's crazy. And again, he's a tattoo artist. He's very diverse. Again, the theme of the video, we're more than just one thing, right? Again, is this Chicano hip hop? Yeah, that's where we're coming from. So
Never catch me in a black hearse.
Onward.
Chicano astronaut doing craft work. Yeah, watch me build.
This young lady, let's see here.
Yeah, watch me build a
Oops, I keep missing it.
pyramid upside down. Spin words, homie. Never catch
She
me
goes
in a
by
black hearse.
on Instagram,
Chicano astronaut doing craft work. Yeah.
La Mexicana Events. I'm not going to be putting people's governments out there on all of these, but La Mexicana Events, look her up on Instagram. Super dope organizer, and her man Daniel have been longtime supporters of ours for a while now. But they're also very important people within the community. They too are people who create platforms, constantly creating platforms for people to be able to themselves grow their own dream, right? It's something, again, we believe in. We believe in that has to be part of the art. It has to be part of the things that we make. And and they believe in that too. And she does that. And in fact, we will be playing her event September 26th, 28th. Oh man, I'm sorry. It is September 28th. Yeah, in a few weeks. We should start practicing soon, I guess. But September 28th, we are one of the headliners at Viva La Raza Fest in San Diego. So if you're in the city, man, trust me. And by the way, as we always do, and as I was just talking about, we decided to create some opportunities. So our deal with the homies were like, if you book us, let us book a bunch of other acts. So we're bringing down the entire Black Books and Rhyme Books. If you don't know who that is, Black Books and Rhyme Books out of Los Angeles, California. Shout out to Beardo. He's bringing in they're going to have their their own stage or their own performance area on the opposite side of the festival. So they're going to be having somebody like artists booked all throughout the day. There's going to be graffiti, lowriders, Aztec dancers, all this really, really cool stuff, but also really important things based around the culture. And we are just part of the music that'll be entertaining that day. But we are on the other stage across the way, and we're bringing some friends with us too. Benny Canales being one of those people. But we're bringing a bunch of other people. So go to theinvisiblepanchos.com. And it's free. By the way, did I say it's free? It's free. It's an all-day event and it's free. Our block of time goes on around 4:00. Come through again. Black Books and Rhyme Books will be there all day. But shout out to La Mexicana Events. So she does those kind of things. So we had to put her in the video because, it be like that.
Watch me build a pyramid upside down.
The homies, The Dark Room. They were one of those acts that we took out on tour.
My whole damn life building sand. So how you like me now? Yeah, and look at what we found. Yeah.
That's that gentleman who just passed by. Let me see if I can get him. I won't keep pausing it all the time. Well, you guys can watch it. You can watch it on your own. We're only getting one view for this right now.
Yeah, and look at what we found. Yeah.
That's the homie Moody, another artist we took out on tour with us. Very important artist, I think. He's got a very dope voice and perspective. Again, not traditional, but is he Chicano? I don't know. You guys, again, that's the question we're asking.
People in a spaceship, my culture to get a face.
That was my OG HipHop Eddie's daughter. Another picture of Michael.
I'm not afraid
Thumps.
to fail at all, man. That's how I grow.
This is the homie Mary and her son. I don't want to put names out there again for privacy reasons. But this is the homie Mary. She again runs an Instagram page. Let me find this because I want to make sure we put it out there because she's a super dope person. She again makes a platform and she shares people's events on Instagram, and she's also a poet and an organizer. But we actually ran into her when we were shooting Benny Canales, and I was like, yo, it's super dope that it just was kind of one of those universe things. You know what I mean? Just kind of put her right there in front of us. And we were like, oh man, of course you should be in the video because you represent what this video is, Oh man, let me try to find her. I'm trying to find her Instagram as I'm sweating. All right. Well, I'll come back to it. But yes, organizer, super, super dope person.
Revolution don't start from nowhere.
Eddie's son.
Tell me when to go.
That was one of Dent Loke's. In fact, the main murals in the video are Dent Loke's. So shout out to him for, again, amazing artist. Cool person.
And the future looks bright as fuck, man. They don't want you to know.
That guy who will remain nameless because we wrote it down and we forgot to get it. But he's from, if anybody has any connections at I believe it's SDFC, the new soccer team in San Diego. He was representing that. Again, he recognized us. He was just like, yo, be down to be in it? Yes, let's go. And he was in it.
They don't want you to know.
Someone find him for us.
They don't want you to know.
SDFC,
They don't
soccer.
want you to know. They don't want you to know. Hey, embracing all my past, yo. Feeling like I'm Astro. Put away the gas stove, not all about the cash flow. Getting money is great, but freedom's even better. Down for whatever, let's move it and make it better. Be the gold of the place, I'll be the soul of the place. I see the cold in your face, yo, let's go to that place. The streets and the people.
Boombox Chuck is this gentleman. That's how you can look him up too. Just look up Boombox Chuck. And if you've never been to San Diego or been around the San Diego hip hop scene, you might not know him, but the entire scene knows him. He's Boombox Chuck. And he, to me, I describe him as a maven. He's somebody who loves the culture and he spreads the word. And you will catch him on San Diego streets with various boomboxes from various years. He's a collector and a connoisseur of the boombox. Yeah, shout out to him. I had to put him in. Because he's one of those people who's in the streets.
For the people up in the streets, bringing me the peace to sing it up on these beats. Yo, let's look at all these setbacks, fuel for the get back. You heard me when I said that, tilting all your heads back. Viva la raza, libertad es lo que yo te digo. Vente conmigo, amor para el barrio, todo necesario. Somos un milagro, aztecas en el carro. Tagging on the pavement, embracing all the breeze. I wonder what a day would salute to all my G's.
Okay, so let me tell you about this part of the song. There's a story connected to this part of the song. So what you're about to hear is Gene Flo play a solo on piano. So don't be missed by that. That is not a sample. That is him playing it. And in fact, he also plays in key form the violin sounds that you're hearing in the background at the end. So Mr. Little One drops his verse. By the way, we recorded the Mr. Little One's verse, and you see there's clips of us walking through a building, me and Mr. Little One. That's Tribal. If you don't know where Tribal's at, or you don't know what Tribal is, look up Tribal Click. They're a world famous clothing brand and one of the pioneers in streetwear. And we were recording at the homie DJ Artistic Studio that is within that building. And Artistic is worked out of that building from, the day one there. So shout out to Tribal, shout out to Bobby Tribal. Again, another place that creates platforms for people and artists, always has, always will. So you'll see outtakes of us walking through that building. That's that. So we built that there. And I'm not sure. So Mr. Little One drops his verse, he leaves, and then I told Gene, I was like, dude, I think the ending needs something. And I pictured in my head that it should be like these really fast moving keys. That's all I kind of told him. I was just like, yo, that direction somewhere, I think that might be cool. And then he sat there and just started playing amazing different pieces. And this was one of the takes. And I had my back to him. I was on the board recording him. He was playing. And I swear this take was one take straight through. And it was, bro, when you are in a room, when somebody, as I like to say, catches the Holy Ghost like that, like where they just catch that energy and they have a moment, man, you just got to leave it. And to me, it's my favorite part of the song. I love the ending. I pictured it moving. I pictured it. It just brings it home for me a lot. And it had like this authentic Latin feel to it as well. I thought, like, just naturally, I don't even know if Gene was shooting for that. He was just zoned in. And a funny story is he didn't want to keep this. He was like, nah, let me do it again. And I know, having sat in studios as many times as I have, dude, when that magic hits, like, you got to kind of just get back, just let it go. Like, that's it. We don't need better than perfect. And to me, it was perfect. So this is Gene actually playing again, no samples. There you have it. Yeah, and that's a little bit of the story. It says redefine revolution at the end. Because that's something I think too, like we kind of need to rethink what that is if we're Chicanos, and you know, revolution is one of the things that we initially started off doing. We have to kind of maybe rethink of what that is now. What does that look like now? And to us, at least for us, we making this song to us as an example of a revolution, in our way, you know? And so there you go. There's the story. There's what I have. We're going to be doing a couple more breakdowns on the song, over the next few weeks, I believe. I think I'm going to do a breakdown on how I sequenced the song. Gene just did a breakdown on the video. I mean, on the beat. If you go to our Instagram, he just put out two, a quick one and then like a more in-depth one. In fact, I think I'm gonna have them uploaded over here on YouTube. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video about how I sequenced the song, and because I think people might find that interesting, or at least some producers will for sure. But yeah, man, that's how we did that. Oh shoot, you know what? I missed right now. Actually, I did not put in. Let me go back real quick, because I brought up his. I just realized that I brought up his name, but I didn't even show him in the video. There's the homie, because I want you to at least put the face with the name. When I was talking about La Mexicana events, I didn't mention. Oh, here he goes. Boom, the homie Daniel. That's the homie Daniel. So again, another maven, right? A scholar. He's a brown beret. He's an organizer. And if you know our community, then you know who he is. And he's somebody who's, you know, given us opportunities. We've worked with him. We've partnered with him on a lot of things. He's one of those guys who, when he calls, we always come running, because usually he's working on something that's very important for the community. And it's interesting. I can tell this story. The other day, I asked. We went to, his wife had an event, and we went to there, and we were just talking, chatting, me, her, and Gene. And we always kind of marvel at Daniel. We'll always bring up Daniel and be like, man, where is he today? He's probably like organizing 4 or 5 different events or something, or he's running around town, because he always is. And she said the thing that drives him is his kids. And like it's like about like creating a better world for his kids. And to me, that's just super dope. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for that. And I think that's, you know, what, of course he should be in the video. Right. But yeah, that's the homie Daniel, and, strong Chicano activist, 1904. Oh shoot. My phone just died, but he's on the, he's on, Daniel, if you're in the chat room, put up your Instagram or something, you know, let people follow you if you want that. You know, a lot of these people are not trying to have you guys like all up in their business either. So, but yeah, that's the video, man. Dude, first of all, thank you so much for the people who have supported it. What are we at right now? Let me see. As of today, we're at 3,612 views. That's amazing. Let me read some of these comments really quick. But yeah, thank you to the people who've shared it, to the people who've, just tapped in and been following us. Cause I think at least some of the people who've been following us for a while, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking to them about and they've been sharing with us and been like super happy for us is that they see a lot of things are happening right now around the Invisible Panchos. And that's true. And we're super humbled by that and super blessed. And because we want to keep creating content like I just showed you. I want to put out more statements, and knowing that there's people who support that, and knowing that people who there's people who think that that's important, means the world. So thank you to you guys for continuing to support. And one of the ways we will thank you is by continuing to come on here and talk with you guys. And if you guys have things that you want us to talk about or break down, we can do lyric videos, beat breakdowns. We could game. We could do whatever. And like I said, I just wanted to jump on here and really break this song down, let people understand how important we felt it was and how important we felt the message was and how needed that question is. So again, to Chicano hip hop, that is the question. Was something like that? Is that Chicano hip hop? Because it's nothing but Chicanos in it. There's two Chicanos rapping. The intention is obviously there. What is it? And if it is, then what does that mean? Are we ready to start expanding what that means? And again, this is not geared towards anybody who currently claims to be part of Chicano hip hop, because I know a lot of those people and none of them are we want to stay in a box. We don't want to change. No, all of them want the quality of music to go up and continue to go up. Why would you not want that? So salute to that. And by the way, the question that we ask in the video, it is rhetorical because we are Chicano hip hop. That is the answer. But I think we need to ask the question about more of the artists and embrace a lot more of the diversity that we have. I mean, at this point, Tumex deserves a Chicano award for sure, right? If you look into it, what he's done. There's a lot of artists who wouldn't exist. I mean, literally wouldn't even have a style if it wasn't for Tumex. But again, we're working on it, right? We're all working on it. Let me see. What do I want to do? I think we're good, man. I've been going for over an hour. Let me see here. Yeah, I think we're good. That's the breakdown of the video. By the way, I was going to talk a little bit about politics, but you know what? Look, here's what I got to say about politics. Don't believe the hype. Please do something better with your life than getting involved in this dumb race that's happening right now. There's no way you could believe either side. Just be real with it. There's no way you can in your heart believe either side has your best interest at. Come on. The system doesn't have your best interest. It doesn't make any sense to me. So if you're on either side, love, man. Because look, you have an opinion. If the Panchos are about anything, we're about freedom. And you have your opinion, but don't fight someone over it. Who gives a shit? For reals, you don't know either one of these individuals running personally at all. You don't know them. You know what they present. Trust me, as someone who's worked behind the scenes in entertainment for a long time, you know what they present. And they have billions of dollars in creating that image and then presenting it to you. Please just be smart. Don't argue with your family. Don't argue with your friends. It's That's dumb. Trust me, there's way more to do. Trust me. And it's not in that area. Politics. Who cares? Who cares? Dude, if this is who's running, if these are the two people who are running, we got way bigger problems, people. It might be too late for some things, for sure. And I think it's a hard thing for people to swallow, that we've all gotten ourselves into this situation. But yeah. See, that's why I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, treat each other good, man. Thank you for supporting us. If this was your first time tuning in with us, that's super dope. Let us know what we could do to answer questions for you guys. And if you're supporting us, man, any of the people I mentioned today, man, ask away whatever you want, whatever we can do for you, whatever we can continue to do for you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of our journey. Everyone in that video, you guys are the reason. I always say that. All our supporters, you guys are the reason. So, man, love you guys. Again, September 28th. I'll be back next week though. We're gonna do this weekly for sure. But September 28th, Invisible Panchos, Viva La Raza Fest in San Diego at the Soap Factory. Look up the Soap Factory. Amazing. It's going to be festival style, huge event, 2 different performance areas, tons of different types of music all through the day. Again, our block starts somewhere around 4 and somewhere around 8. We're bringing a bunch of friends, some of the dopest hip hop artists we know, for sure. We're bringing them. Shout out to Black Books and Rhyme Books. They'll be there as well. In fact, Moody, you saw him in the video. He'll be performing there. Say what up to Moody. Say what up to Beardo. And we'll see you there. And then the Happiness of Pursuit Festival, first weekend in October. That first Saturday. Man, it's on and popping. D12. Talk about, this is hip hop. This is for some hip hop heads. Come to the Happiness of Pursuit Festival. It is the largest independent hip hop festival on the West Coast. And it's amazing. And just packed with literally the who's who of the underground and independent hip hop. We will be there. I'll be doing, I think, interviews throughout the festival all day. But the night before the festival, there's a kickoff party. Trust me, you want to go. It's usually packed with VIPs. All the artists that perform usually come through, turn up before the fest. And your boys, along with the homie Megaran and Cam Archer, again, hip hop, but also nerdcore. Nerdcore is going to be in there. Nerd hip hop. I don't even know what that. We're gonna find out what that is. But that's on the bill too. But we're one of the headliners. Come through to that. Again, it's the first Friday of October. I believe it's the 5th. But that's in Ontario. If you're in Ontario, California, we're doing that, turning up every month from here till the end of the year. We got big shows, huge ones coming up, really big ones with some big artists that you guys know. And we will be putting that all on our website soon, invisibleponchos.com. Thank you for tuning in to Chris Sees the Internet. Follow us, subscribe, like, do all that. Again, we're trying to get this YouTube thing popping. We're working on it, though. I mean, 130 some subscribers in a month, jump up. We're getting something going. We need your support. Keep going. Blow into the sail. We need that. And we'll keep doing our part. I promise. I will definitely do my part. Shout out to Gene Flow. Shout out to OG Hip Hop Eddie. And we'll see you guys next time, man. We'll see you next week. Again, subscribe so that we're posting a lot too on YouTube now. Not just videos, but actual posts and talking to the audience. And we're going to be posting the times and stuff when we go live there. So it's good to just subscribe, turn on the alerts, all that good stuff. All right, man. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. Be safe. We got a new vlog dropping maybe Friday. I believe it's Friday. For sure this week, though. A brand new vlog cut together. Again, I edit the vlogs. If you got complaints about the vlogs, send them to this guy. I do most of the editing around here. But now we got Gene. He's editing reels. So send it to that guy if you got problems over there. But we'll see you guys next time. This is Chris Sees the Internet, Invisible Panchos. That's us. Peace.